Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan, welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith. Let's talk about expensive tooling. So in this video, you'll basically see me making this. Making a sample that I've got an idea for in my head for something, but I'm not letting you know what it is yet, but it didn't turn out quite how I wanted it to. I think I need a second pair of hands to give me a hand with some of the forging. But regardless of that, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about expensive tooling. If you've seen Roy's video, I'll leave a link at the end to Roy's video. He talks about why sometimes it's not necessary to spend the money and to make the scrapyard, junkyard hammers, DIY hammers. And to some degree, I agree with him. It depends what you want to do. But if you want to be professional, you don't have to do this. I'm not saying that this is 100% right, but in more cases than not, you should speculate to accumulate, i.e. you should spend some money to make some money. And I think when people buy equipment, I was always certainly taught this, you should view that thing earning you money over time. And you should buy something in order to earn you money over time. So first of all, it should pay itself back. Then once it's paid itself back, it should continue to give you money as you go forward in your career. So why make a hot cut out of H13 and not mild steel? Well, I didn't do it because I had it. It's not because I like spending money on H13 because it's quite expensive. But it was because I've done this because I need something that can cut. Because when I come to make this surreal, I'm intending on this being, I don't know, 100mm by 20 or 100mm by 30 and not 40 by 20. So I need something that's going to be able to cut into 4-inch square bar, 4-inch by inch bar. So that's why I've used the H13, and if I manage to achieve what I want to achieve, I can possibly sell the items that I'm trying to make and get some money, get a reputation for being able to achieve something quite spectacular, and hopefully get my work into more shows. Now, the other tool that was on here that fell off was a H13 hammer eye punch. And again, the same reasons. If I use that punch, I can punch a hole in one heat. I can pretty much put the punch in one side, drift it through, bang it through to the middle, turn it around, bang that through to the middle, and it's pretty much, you could do that every time. It makes you more efficient, it makes you faster, it makes you more accurate, it saves time, it saves money. So therefore, I'm spending the money on the special materials to give me the ability to perform. Is there a need to make everything out of H13? Certainly not, and I would recommend, if you're trying to work out what a tool should look like, you should definitely make it out of a cheaper material. Do I make all my tools out of H13? No, I'll use mild steel drifts, I'll use I probably would never use a mild steel punch, not unless I was in a real pinch. I don't think it would work, but I would definitely use coil spring or leaf spring or bulldozer blades, or well, mostly full truck time, to make punches and stuff. And if this was a normal situation where I feel that a normal piece of high carbon steel or medium carbon steel might work, I probably would have made this out of full truck time, but I don't think it's going to work in the extreme situation. so therefore I need to spend the pennies. Also, power hammers were mentioned, and the fact that perhaps building your own hammer is better than buying a second-hand one. And I feel that in the States at the minute, you guys are getting robbed a little bit because you're having to pay through the nose for something that here currently isn't quite that expensive. And I can see why certain hammers are the money that they are. But I can't see why the prices of anvils are going up and fly presses. I think that's a bit unfair, especially for guys starting out. But if you are going to buy equipment, you want to buy good equipment and use it effectively. So talk to a financial advisor, talk to your bank, talk to business advisors, and they will help you build a business plan and work out how you can most effectively take advantage of something like this. So if you're going to build your hammer, it comes with the same amount of problems as if you are going to buy a second-hand or brand new hammer. I think if you've got the time to build a hammer and to build it properly, the cost of what you could have been earning whilst you were making stuff might not necessarily outweigh the cost of a hammer. And I think people forget this a little bit. Time is money, and some people are time rich and some people are time poor. I'm quite time poor at the minute. But if you're in a situation where you have the time to build a hammer, build a good one. But don't think that it is basically just welding a load of scrap metal together. If you weld scrap metal together, you will constantly be finding problems and repairing your hammers. These break down, these need repairing as well, and your junkyard hammers, your DIY hammers, they also need repairing. So you have to bear that in mind. It's not as simple as saying this will break down so it's going to cost you more money. If this thing is working, it's going to put your work output a lot higher. It's going to allow you to achieve more, and therefore you should be able to earn more money, and the cost of keeping this running isn't going to affect you. And here is one other thing that I think isn't often thought about. If you look after it, it will last a long time. Regular servicing, regular repair on parts that are designed to wear away. Machining parts on this is a nightmare. If a cylinder needs reboring, this top part on its own weighs somewhere in the region of a ton. You've got to take it all apart. You've got to find someone who's got a horizontal boring machine. You've got to get it rebored. It's expensive, yes, but you don't want to get into a situation where that happens. Making sure seals are good, making sure that you do regularly change the oils. You know, these sorts of things will prevent an older hammer from coming apart. Now, pneumatic hammers are very complicated because they rely heavily on their cylinders, which are, if they are damaged, can be very expensive to repair. But mechanical hammers don't have these cylinders. They might have slides, but these are things that can be repaired and replaced, and they aren't very costly. So your bigger mechanical hammers can really be very effective if looked after. And don't be scared of using three-phase. Three-phase is epic. It's something that I've always been told ever since I started my apprenticeship and ever since I started blacksmithing. Do not be scared to buy the biggest thing you can buy. Buy it and then realise the options it gives you. Yes, it can forge 4-inch square bar should I desire to be a madman, but it can also forge 10mm square bar should I decide to do that. It hits as soft as I like and it hits as hard as it can. And that's the potential from something like this. It's not some crazy thing that you're having to run flat out all the time, which will cause damage because you are running somewhere in its middle range that will A, last longer, and B, it will give you the options to do big work, small work, and everything in between. Yes, they cost money to put in if you put them in the way I put this one in. This has a separate anvil and needs an inertia block. But not all large power hammers are in 2 pieces, and not all power hammers necessarily need big concrete blocks making. I've noticed that a lot of these Nacelle hammers, they lift them off the ground, they build a steel frame for them and pour a very small amount of concrete and do it that way, and I believe that works just as well. So, you know, when you're looking at building it, if your building isn't big enough and you want to get a power hammer and you think you've got the work for it, you're in the wrong building. You need to move buildings. And this goes for all tooling. Whatever you're using and whatever you're buying as a product and you're going to use, remember, if you are trying to earn money off it, speculate. Imagine what you can do with it. Get the best that you can afford, buy that product, and then use it to the best of its ability. This workshop was built around running this thing. Some degree it does. Do I need a super duper mega welder? I need a good welder because if I'm making tooling for this or if I'm doing jobs that require welding, I need it to be reliable and work. But do I need as high a quality welder as I need? Perhaps not, but I will spend the maximum that I need to spend in order to get to buy a welder, and I do it with all my products. The drill I buy is the very best drill. It's the one I like, and that's why I've bought it. All the welders I've got, they are the best quality welders that I can afford, and they are also what I would consider good quality welders. Some people might disagree with my choice of welder. The Massey is the best hammer that I think that there exists. That's my opinion, and also I'm British, it's British. It's a beautiful piece of kit. It works really hard and it does everything I need it to do. It was more than I could afford, but that doesn't matter now. Fly press, again, the same. I bought the biggest fly press I could find. And basically that's it. If you speculate and you will accumulate, you will earn money, and it will definitely give you the leading edge. Whereas if you're messing around with things, You know, you can make really good hammers. They can be really, really good quality hammers, but you are buying third-party parts. You're going to have to machine things in order to get them to run right. If you're using pneumatics, you're going to have to buy pneumatic rams. You're going to have to buy pneumatic valves. And it's just, you know, it's a whole collection of complications that are as costly, if not more costly in some situations, than buying a second-hand or a brand new hammer. And the thing about brand new hammers is they come with warranty. And the college has just recently bought a new power hammer, an Anyang. You know, they must have spent somewhere in the region of £9,000 to buy the hammer. They've got to get it in, but you know that's going to cost them another £1,000. They call it $14,000 or $1,400, I think you guys say. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, that is going to give people the option of doing certain types of work that you cannot do with the other power hammers that they have in the workshop. Also, if that Anyang is still doing the same amount of work this is doing when they're the same age, that power hammer is a good power hammer. This power hammer has done a lot of work in its life, and I feel very privileged to be able to own it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say on the subject. I do think that you can cut your nose off to spite your face by trying to cut corners by, you know, not spending the pennies. That's not an option for everyone. If you're not trying to be professional, if you're not trying to do architectural work, you don't need to listen to me. I'm talking nonsense. You don't need a massive hammer like this. If you want a massive hammer like this, I definitely suggest you buy one. They're amazing. If you can afford one, buy one. If you want to use it properly for forging, do it. If you just want to put hot metal under there and squish it, do it. It's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible. But basically, that's all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me make these bits. And hopefully you don't think I've been a bit of a bitch in this video. I'm trying not to be. I really genuinely like Roy, and I like Roy's content. And I do think if you want to get on, you definitely need to spend a bit more money. But at the same time, if you are, you know, in the backyard, you don't need a power hammer. You need, you know, a home DIY hammer that's going to give you the ability to draw out those rains that you just don't want to do by hand, basically. Anyway. Enough of my talking. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoy making these videos. I've enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed making this. It's very nice. So thank you for joining me. If you did enjoy this video as well, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are a subscriber, ring that bell for notifications because it lets you know every time I make a video. That bell is next to the subscribe button. And leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of my opinion. Is it speculate to accumulate, or is it to hoard your money and not spend it on tooling and build everything? Anyway, whatever you think, I'm really open to hear what you guys are saying. Roy's video will be in the description below, and I'll put it in a card at the end. And I think that is everything. So thank you for joining me. This is the Roy's video that I'm talking about. Here's another video about business that I have made. This is my Patreon. Go and check that out. It's a great way to support the channel, and here is the subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye bye.